Blind Barcode Podcast audio commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign, Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 3.
Hell on Earth.
Before we get started with our audio commentary for Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh, I want to say a quick word about Jordy Calendar. Spelled Jorte. Jordy is a great calendar/journal solution for both Android and iOS. You can use it to keep track of your life, sync with your Apple and Google calendars, and follow events and sports as well. Check it out. It's free to download, and you can do some neat customizations if you want to pay a little extra and really make it yours. Please use the custom URL bit.ly/pinheadcalendar, all one word. So bit.ly/pinheadcalendar. So they know that you got it from us. Thanks, Jordy Calendar, for your support. All right, well, now let's go on to the audio commentary.
This was my first news report that I ever did.
Oh, really? It was about this release?
Yeah, about the Blu-ray release.
Oh, that's cool.
It's always
so awesome.
It has a special place in my heart. Just for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
For those just joining us, of course, we're talking about Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh for our second to last audio commentary from our previous fundraiser.
Yeah, this was around the time that we had ran out of bad movies to make commentary tracks on, and we started picking in some good movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really good one. I love this sequel. Yep, it's one of the best sequels out there, especially in the horror, universe.
Well, anyway, I'm on the lion. He just started roaring. I'm like 5 seconds into the lion roaring, the MGM.
I think I'm watching the Shout Factory release, the Blu-ray one, which is really, really clear. Very good transfer. Didn't you think so, Rob?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think
it's better than the DVD.
So we got it set up at the MGM logo before Leo the Lion starts roaring, and I guess I could do the countdown for it. So
is his name really Leo?
Yeah, I think the original one was called Leo the Lion. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, they actually had a name.
I think I'll add to the show notes the picture of the time when they actually brought the lion to a studio and recorded his roar for the camera, which became the famous MGM logo. There was a photo of that. I'll put it in the show notes. All right, so without further ado, we're going to do the countdown. So if you got it paused on the MGM logo, it's going to be press play in 5 seconds, like 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
It does have a roar on them.
All right, so Candyman 2, one of the best sequels that I've seen in the horror movie universe for me.
Yeah, it's really not bad. It's in a way it's almost a little bit like a remake because we've got this woman sort of getting framed for Candyman's murders, but not in the same way as Helen. Not to the extent that Helen was.
That's
I like it because it gets into the mythology of Candyman, and it kind of makes him. He's not the monster like he was in the first one.
Yeah,
there's a sadness to him that I liked. It came more like I guess relatable. I don't know, just
definitely humanized him. Yeah,
he was humanized.
So here with Purcell explaining the history of Candyman in Candyman the original, he's the guy that said that they spread Candyman's ashes over Cabrini Green.
Yeah, that's right.
But that obviously that doesn't make any sense now with this story because his whole origin and is really here in New Orleans, which is pretty far away from Cabrini Green.
And like one of our listeners said in a comment of our previous commentary track, there were no slave farms in Chicago or around that area, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's not the South.
Right.
The little things like that bug y'all when they do things like that.
A little, but I guess sometimes movies we kind of think of them as a little self-contained, and I think that's what I thought about this one as well.
Well, and the other thing is that Candyman is an urban legend. So, I mean, that thing about the ashes, he could be, it could be just totally wrong. It's just a story,
Yeah. In fact, the beginning of Candyman 1, we hear the story of this couple with Sam Raimi's brother playing the boyfriend.
Right.
And it's just a teenage girl or a young college girl saying that story like she heard it, but it's not accurate. It's just urban folklore.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a major theme in that last movie, but it's not. That kind of fades away a little bit in this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is the delivery of information in a great prologue and introduction. I think this kind of takes us back a little bit to the first movie, acquaints us again with the Candyman legend, and brings back a character from the first movie, Purcell, like you were saying, Ryan. Yeah. So here's a really fun book cover would be mirrored. And it's just a stroke of genius. Yeah, I love it. Don't you guys think that the font in the page reminds us of the same font used in Clive Barker books, especially Imagica?
Yeah, it looks like Imagica. It kind of looks like Forms of Heaven and Incarnations a little bit.
Yeah.
That really could have hurt him when you look at that. The guy didn't know where he was stabbing that hook.
Yeah. That was an expensive trick, too. I mean, every time he did that, he would have to sacrifice one of those projector screens.
Yeah.
Hopefully he wasn't doing it as a tour.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how many books he sold on the spot versus to make that worth it.
Yeah.
Or maybe his screen was just a big rolled-up piece of paper.
So the director of this movie was Bill Condon, who was a Oscar-winning, and the Oscar was actually won in a movie that was produced by Clive Barker. That was Gods and Monsters. He won the Oscar in '99 for Best Writing Screenplay.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it is really good.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah, it really helps in this one to have a good director.
But we all know that Bernard Rose was originally going to direct this, and it was a little confusing. It sounded confusing. Seemed like he wanted to do a Midnight Meat Train movie, though.
Yeah. It was called Candyman.
I'd like to read it.
To the Midnight Meat Train.
Yeah. Curious. I would love to read that script. I mean, just for.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If it ever got into script form, that would be something I would love to get my hands on.
In an interview, Clive Barker said, had read over the treatment for it, and he said, "Where's Candyman in all this?" Because it was really just the Midnight Meat Train. And I think that was kind of the end of it.
So he never even included Candyman in it. Okay. Okay.
And Bill Condon also directed, apart from Gods and Monsters in this, Breaking Dawn 1 and 2, and more recently, Mr. Holmes with Sir Ian McKellen, which is a great movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Did he win Best Director for Chicago? Or was nominated? Or something?
Yeah, I think so. He was nominated for Best Screenplay, Chicago.
He's a great writer.
Does this brother character bug you guys? Like, he does me. He seems like the weakest link in this whole movie. I mean, just his performance and just kind of grates on me.
I agree a little bit.
But I mean,
he's not very convincing.
I do feel bad for him later on. With what happens.
Yeah, I feel bad for the character, but he just is not. I don't know. He's not very convincing.
He has a whiny look about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to set him up as like this hero or victim,
I love how this bartender trashes his own bar with this.
Yeah. I thought the same, yeah. One of the things that I thought was weird was that this movie doesn't have a lot of gratuitous jump scares, but like this one, for example, that situation between Purcell and Tarrant guy, it was already over. Okay, if he was gonna attack him or beat him up, he was gonna do that outside where nobody was watching. Yeah. I mean, to have him like show up inside the bar and do all that scene, it's kind of strange, but I guess it's just setting up for this one. Yeah. For this scene that's coming up.
Right. So,
and also, to raise a suspicion, and to frame the brother because, of course, he threatens him in front of all those people.
Yeah. So this was
the first of how many
the black guy jump scare. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first one.
That guy doesn't even look anywhere near like Candyman.
Roger Ebert actually criticized a little bit this movie in the sense that it was kind of about racism and tried to expose some racism, but at the same time, it kept making its audience afraid of young, tall, black guys.
Yeah.
You know, which he kind of thought it was a little like, maybe that's not the best thing you want to scare people with in this movie.
It's a cheap way to do it too. I mean, racism aside,
the door. This is pretty cool. The door swinging back and forth, and just know he's going to be there.
Oh yeah, you're definitely expecting it.
And right here, boom.
It's like, oh, he's gone. Okay, I guess I'm fine. Or am I?
He's like frozen in fear.
So Candyman has had a big upgrade in wardrobe. So
I like his coat better in this.
Me too. The other one was a little too fuzzy, and now he's supposed to be from Louisiana. Yeah. He wouldn't wear a fur coat in Louisiana.
Yeah. They're probably giving him a break too. Tony Todd, I mean.
I love this opening. It's masterful. It was tonally perfect. It introduces the perfect tone for the movie. It's and ends with this, a great, short, satisfying opening cue with a great logo.
Also,
I love it.
The music is just a little different from the original Candyman, but not too much.
Right. It's more gothic, I would say.
Yeah.
Right.
There are some new cues created for some of the new characters, but I was okay with the score being the same. It reminded me of why the power of that score and why it should be carried on. I definitely wouldn't get another composer to do these movies.
Oh, I thought those were bees at first, but it's just beads.
Yeah, and confetti.
Yeah.
I love that shot that just before this one where you see like the old brick house warehouse next to a big glass tower. It kind of shows you the old and the new in New Orleans.
Have you guys ever been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans?
No, I have not. I've been to New Orleans, but my brother used to live in Mardi Gras. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Walking down those streets, you can barely move. It's like you have to go with the crowds, and people are grabbing you and touching you.
I went once. We had a realtor convention in New Orleans.
Oh.
I haven't been to New Orleans. I haven't been to New Orleans, but I've experienced Carnival in several places like Italy and Germany and Portugal. Wow. And it's always a great parade. Although there's definitely differences between different countries. Like Germany, there's a lot of drinking involved.
Oh, yeah. Well, New Orleans, too.
Yeah, I was in Mainz, Germany, which was the hometown of Gutenberg, to experience a carnival there. And they do something which is they drink from tiny glass bottles, and then they just smash them in the gutters next to the sidewalks. And so the next day you can just see, you feel like the crunching of glass when you're crossing the road.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty amazing that they get away with it.
There's executive producer Clive Barker.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say the costume designer did a heck of a job in this movie.
Yeah.
And Rand Ravitch. Yeah, screenplay by Rand Ravitch. He wrote one of your most interesting movies, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, he did some uncredited rewrites for Bloodline.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
This character here, I was more annoyed by this character than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
The kid,
yeah. Yeah, I just didn't buy his performance.
There's no real explanation about why is he keep seeing Candyman and dreaming about him and stuff either.
Yeah.
Other than, for her to...
And he's getting picked on, he's just the guy, just...
His name is Joshua Gibran Mayweather. This young actor plays Matthew Ellis.
And he's got to be an adult now.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Camp Nowhere is where I first saw him. It's a comedy, a Disney movie.
Yeah, from 97.
Yeah.
He's also been in The Faculty, Smart Guy TV series, Problem Child 3, Junior in Love TV movie.
The Faculty has one of the teachers' name is Dan Hauser. So the kids at the school where I was teaching in Night Mute saw that. They all saw that movie and started, saying that I was one of the evil teachers in The Faculty.
That's funny.
It's not a common name. I mean,
No.
And it got
Like
announced
Limehouse.
over the loudspeaker in the movie.
Mr. Danhauser.
I think everyone with that name is related to me. So somehow somebody in that production must have known one of my relatives or something.
These detectives, especially the guy, the tall, dark guy, he's so stereotypically like the bad cop, good cop thing.
Yes, he's awful.
Well, yeah.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of Craig Sheffer, though. He's like a lost twin or something.
But like he's a long lost brother of Detective Thorne.
Yeah.
there are even worse jerk cops. Is it in the Candyman 3, right?
Oh yeah, it got even worse here, right?
Yeah. This one
That's
is at least this one's more believable. It's you don't like him, but
Veronica Carr, from Alien.
Yeah, right. Let's just draw straws and take our chances in the shuttle.
And then nobody told her about the alien,
So that was
the alien thing coming out of the chest, and so she got caught by surprise.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
In the outtake, she fell. She slipped. I mean, she didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's an outtake on the.
Oh, you mean as the actress? Nobody told her.
Yeah, on set.
Oh, because they wanted to get her real reaction.
A real reaction.
That's cool.
Yeah. She plays a really great part in this movie, like the Southern Belle mother who's from a rich family, and she's dying of cancer.
Possibly an alcoholic.
I guess she just doesn't care anymore because the doctor says it doesn't make any difference. So, it's just like when you saw Tom Swayze smoke even after he was dying of cancer. He was like, well, I'll just smoke until I die.
Yeah, and these this movie is pretty harsh to that poor what's her name? The main character.
Annie Tarrant, Kelly.
Annie.
Kelly.
Annie. Yeah, she's got a pretty rough time ahead of her.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets tragic to a point.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, she takes it pretty well considering. I mean,
well, in this movie, there's kind of like a reversal of what Candyman does. In the first movie, when you call him, he kills you. But then in this movie, when she calls him, and he just kind of haunts her, and he wants her to be his witness instead of being his victim.
Yeah, well, that happened with Helen, too, in the first Candyman.
Yeah.
He would just drag her around and kill people in front of her.
Now, I did like the husband here. He's really cool.
Yeah. Well,
I liked
there's a thing about him. It's like, watching this movie because he's too nice that he's going to die.
He's gone. He's a goner.
Yeah. Timothy Carhart plays Paul McKeever in this movie.
Yeah. He's too perfect.
Yeah, you're right. When I saw it in the theater, I think I was 15, and I was just excited to see Candyman. Everybody seemed to be enjoying the movie. He's
actually his latest actor credit is a short called "Fuck, Marry, Kill," which is supposed to be completed in 2016. He plays a sheriff, so I guess we'll have to track that one down.
Got an interesting title.
So again, this is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think the visuals of having it in New Orleans, it's a great backdrop for some really interesting visuals with some of the set pieces with the Candyman.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I think it's seeing him when later on he's walking through Mardi Gras, he blends in perfectly.
This interview room, in the station, it's all mirrored. I mean, for the theme of the movie, it's just absolutely genius to make it like this.
And it must have been nearly impossible to film. I mean, this movie that there's mirrors everywhere, and they had to keep the cameras out of them.
Yeah.
For DPs, that mirrors are a nightmare.
I bet.
Well, in the movie, in this scene, and they're supposed to be mirrored, like one-way mirrors, but if it was like a set or something, maybe they were just glass. I mean, there are parts where you can tell they're mirrored, though. So that's true.
This part kind of annoys me because he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get this guy, and I'm going to sneak into the secret room behind the interrogation room," but he already confessed, right? So it's like, why does he feel like he has to nail him?
Yeah, he's like a guy that's been picked on too, or something like that. Got a grudge from high school.
Yeah.
Let it go, man. You're a cop. You're successful.
Yeah. He made it really easy for them.
Yeah, you got a great point there, Ryan. There's no reason for him to do this except for some morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
So
he does look like Craig Shepard.
I find it weird that they bring out these photos of other victims of allegedly Candyman. I mean, I know they probably were always open files because they wouldn't catch the killer because the killer was Candyman probably. But to think that, that it's all connected to this guy. There's got to be.
It seems a little early in the investigation, doesn't it?
Yeah. Here's the little grudge coming up to the surface.
I'm poor and you're rich. So I don't care if you did it or not.
Class, yeah.
Yeah, he's not very convincing, this guy.
No.
I agree with you on that. But so this movie, what it does really well is that it brings back a lot more to the mythology. One thing that Clive said was the whole point of Candyman 2 is to enrich the mythology of the first film. I think it's going to end up more Baroque than the first one, as much a consequence of locations than anything else. I think this movie will answer a lot of questions that were left unanswered at the end of the first Candyman movie. This was an interview he gave in '95.
They actually were thinking it. They actually thought about, doing a sequel with Helen, but that was, I guess, they decided not to do that.
Yeah, that would have been cool with Candyman and Helen together.
One thing that I couldn't remember, I was watching this last night and a little bit today. I was trying to remember, did they ever mention who was Candyman's love interest in the first movie? Because in this one, they gave it the name of Carolyn Sullivan.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they did.
For some reason, I had the idea that it was Helen as well as the main character.
Right, she got painted into the painting at the end, right?
But I don't think they called the name of this lover.
Probably not.
No, she was just the daughter of a rich plantation owner or something like that.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Right. They do show, I think, a scene of the portrait of Caroline in the third movie, and it doesn't look anything like the second movie.
Yeah.
No.
She's wearing a hat and stuff.
We already did our commentary about the third movie, and it was arguably terrible. I mean, we could probably just pretend that that's not part of the canon of Candyman.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, so a lot of it doesn't make any sense, too, because the little girl grows up to an adult in, 4 years or something like that. This is 95, and that one is 99.
Well, I don't think it's really, they were setting it, probably really the years were probably past 4 years. I don't really think it was keeping it, because she gets really old in 4 years in the next one. She's 60 in the next one.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They were kind of seemed like they were setting in the future or something.
Yeah, but everything else about it was, normal present day stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
Just crazy.
Am I the only one who's going to bring up that her brother is in jail confessing to murder, and she's dressing up for Mardi Gras? What is this, date night?
Yeah.
It's like your brother is in jail accused of murder.
Yeah. That kooky brother.
One of the good thing about New Orleans, if you ever go there, the cooking is excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere you go.
Yeah.
They had this really good tomato basil soup. I wish I could get it.
I love jambalaya.
So
I would get jambalaya all the time.
Jambalaya.
Or alligator po' boys.
Gumbo.
I only had gumbo once, but it wasn't in Louisiana. It was in California. But I loved it. I love gumbo. It's delicious. All right, another gratuitous scare here.
Yeah. You're not very convincing, though. I mean,
they don't. The scares aren't scary.
Not like.
I got a rock.
In the first Candyman, they made me jump a lot, but in this movie, they don't really.
And there we go. Gratuitous nudity on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny they made it so she doesn't really have to. Well, she kind of does a little bit, but she doesn't really have to do nudity because there's other people around that can do it.
I love that look he gives her, like, "Hey, you want to get busy?
Yeah. And then they just skip ahead.
Take your frustrations away and take away the fact that your brother is in jail for murder."
Yeah. Her painting
So is that
is not great.
Is it supposed to be your mother?
It's her. It's supposed to be her.
Oh, okay. Like
She's
a
another person
self-portrait.
that likes to do portraits of herself, which is kind of reminds me of that painting from Transmutations where the guy had the portrait of himself right next to him.
I'm going to rip this part of the newspaper that's got my brother's article on it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of...
It's got a little stereotypical. She was coming to the realization that she can't paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unlike unlike her daughter in the next movie, who thinks she's a good painter, and she just photocopies stuff.
Yeah, just photocopies. Oh yeah, that was really bad. That was bad.
Oh, they did a jump scare with her husband too, and we're like, yeah, come on. She didn't even say can't. Yeah, she didn't
sometimes
even say
it happens though.
Yet, so.
But sometimes it happens. Sometimes, especially if I'm in the kitchen or if I'm in the office and I got headphones on or I'm listening to a podcast or something. Sometimes I'm listening to it on my phone while I'm walking around the house. And it's happened a few times that I turn the corner, or sometimes I get a tap in the shoulder. It's my wife, and I just get really scared because I'm not expecting. I'm kind of in the zone.
Yeah.
And it happens.
What do you guys think of this Wolfman Jack type radio
Kingfish?
host? Yeah, is that his name?
I love him. He's great. I think the parts he's are great. There's one that really makes me laugh at the end. Towards the end, he's like, "So I guess what's the day where you're supposed to feast?"
To fast, Passover? What?
Yeah, no, it's about. He's like, I'm going to be eating tonight, New Orleans, and I'm going to be eating with my hands or something like that.
Yeah. Like he's saying that he's got hair and he's turning into a werewolf or something.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's been other movies that have famously had DJ narrators. One of them is like Hardware, from a guy you've had pizza with, Ryan.
Right. Yeah, I still never have seen that movie.
Hardware from...
Who did you have pizza with that was in the Hardware?
The director.
Richard Stanley?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Russell introduced me to him in Portland.
That's an interesting guy.
For Hardware, the DJ is Iggy Pop, and he narrates a lot of segments in the movie where he calls himself, "This is Angry Bob, the man with the industrial dick." And
yeah, I love that. You're right.
Doing the Right Thing also has a DJ narrator.
So is it about robots or something?
Which one? Hardware?
Hardware. Yeah, it's about a robot. Yeah,
about a killer robot.
Is it like
a military
Deadly Friend? Or Short Circuit?
No. He's definitely
this
not
robot is he's a military killing robot that someone finds the head in the desert, and then he gives it to his girlfriend, who's like a plastic artist, and she kind of connects it to a few things and brings back the
robot becomes obsessed with her.
Yeah, and he starts fixing himself and kills a bunch of people.
So this is kind of bizarre. Do you think she still owns this house, and she just let it get like this?
No, yeah, I don't think she does.
So
well, she says she lived there like 17 or 15 years ago, right?
Yeah. I don't think she'd let the house go like that.
Might have been one of those properties that was too expensive to renew, so the family just is letting it lapse.
Oh, my power cord fell out. The laptop. I gotta fix it fast.
Wonders of live recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also American Graffiti. It's got Wolfman Jack, like you said, Rob.
Oh yeah.
That's a great. In that sense, it's a really awesome movie. American Graffiti, of course. George Lucas directed it.
Yeah.
And we got some squatters here.
Yeah.
And they're kind of mad that they're there.
Squatters and drifters.
You see a lot of people like that down in New Orleans. That was,
Yeah.
a big kind of culture shock, People.
I mean, why would
watching people eat out of the, dumpsters.
Her husband is the new Bernadette. Because she's like she's trying to drag him around to explore this mansion, and he's like, "No, let's just go."
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, why would her husband let his wife roam unattended into a house with bums and drifters? Yeah. I know there's a segment up ahead where he hurts his foot, but it's like, I would still like hop along her. I mean, I wouldn't let her go out there without, having some sort of protection.
Yeah.
The old slave quarters. God knows how they're still standing or why.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're just falling apart. They
wash away practically.
Bulldoze them and put something else down there.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of clumsy husband. He's kind of dumb husband,
He's a little oafish.
Yeah.
Although he's very sympathetic. Yep. So that house went to crap really, really fast. I mean, you get the idea that she was living there less than 20 years ago, but now it's just a complete wreck.
Yeah, maybe her mother still owns it, and she just let it go.
Yeah.
She
But
this tunnel is awesome. This tunnel right here, great set design.
Oh wow, yeah.
I love the paintings here, especially the one here at the center of the room.
I would love to know who was the artist who worked on this. Who was the painter of these amazing murals? They're all so absolutely cool.
And that looks really similar graffiti to in the first movie. Yeah.
I love that painting.
It's like they put concept art all over the ceiling.
Yeah. It looks like concept art.
Yeah. Let's blow it up. Put it in the ceiling.
They can
really cool.
Staple all of the what do you call those?
That's what I like.
That show all the different shots.
Did you notice there was a bunch of mirrors on that part of the attic over there? There was a corner that was covered in mirrors.
Yeah, I did.
What are those tiny skulls? Are they little monkey skulls or just made out of ceramic?
For the
not people's.
No, that's sorry. I'm
maybe cats.
Festivals.
Oh, geez.
He's like, okay, foot's better. Wait, where's my wife?
And there's a broken mirror in that room as well.
Oh, yeah.
How big that cell phone is. So you can tell if it's back from the 90s.
Yeah.
Gosh, you remember when you put that thing in your belt with a clip?
Yeah. Pull your pants down.
And then some of them would have like an antenna that you could pull out and it would become even bigger.
Yeah. 95, I didn't have a cell phone back then.
I think I did. I was an early adopter. Oh, wait, no, 95, no. My first phone was like 97 or 98. Yeah.
Mine was 2003. Not until I got into real estate and somebody told me I had to have one. They also told me I needed to get a pager. I'm like, why? This cell phone does everything that a pager can do. What do I need to get a pager number?
I remember pagers. They were so useless.
And they were like, everybody at Remax has one. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get a pager number. That's a waste of money.
Yeah.
This guy is always terrified of the drifters.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, come on, you're the guy who's supposed to be like watching out for your wife there.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause it for Mom for a second. I think I'm a few seconds.
So he's got a restaurant and she's a school teacher.
Yeah. And it looks like maybe 4th grade or
like an inner city school.
Yeah.
I'd say it's maybe a middle school, 6th or 7th grade.
Oh, that could be. So apparently an art class.
That's what. Yeah, she's the art teacher.
Yeah. So then it would have to be middle school or high school.
That's really this scene is strange because I don't understand what's going on. I know the kids are fighting, but who's that lady trying to break them up? Is she a teacher? Is she another teacher? Is she a substitute?
I think she's a
but
substitute.
she didn't seem. But Annie doesn't seem to be rushing or to be late, and meanwhile everybody's already in the room fighting.
That's right.
You know, it's kind of strange. She doesn't seem like she's running because she's late. She's just walking, and then when she sees there's something going on, she starts running.
She's a teacher from next door, maybe.
Yeah,
and it's bizarre because like these kids got in a fight because he drew a picture of Candyman. It's like that what?
Yeah, not really a good explanation.
Yeah, why is that kid?
They don't. I guess the way I say it is they don't want Candyman to be
mentioned.
About,
yeah. Good point, Rob. Good point. So they're probably like mad that he's like bringing it into their lives, and they're like, I don't even want to hear his name.
Yeah.
His shirt is huge. Did y'all look and see how big his shirt is?
Yeah.
It covers up his arms.
I love this part here where she says, "You guys don't really believe this, do you?"
And just that pan.
And they're all crickets. They should put like cricket noise, like beep beep beep. Yeah, here's that pan.
That girl's got a giant like dog head hanging from her shirt.
Yeah, maybe this was art class. Maybe they were making masks.
Yeah,
it's a mask. So. The other girl has a mask on her head too.
Yeah.
See, it's drama class.
The class looks like fun. I think I would have fun with class.
Yeah, I never really made any masks or anything in art class. I think we made puppets once, made out of like plastic bottles.
Oh, and why would you? Why? You'll spend the rest of your life blaming yourself for everything that happened after this moment.
Well, you know it has to happen at some point in the movie. The main character has to summon Candyman and say, "Oh, I don't believe in him." You know, nothing's gonna.
Yeah.
But
what if like three other people that are not in the movie are doing the same thing? It's like, you have to be.
Why risk it, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could be hunting like 4 or 5 people at a time, really.
He would be a busy guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh shucks, my 3 o'clock appointment is up.
He'd have a pager.
Yeah. Oh, there's the bee.
Yeah. Bees aren't as big in this one as they were in the first.
I love the way that kid puts his hand over the teacher's hand, like, yeah, nice knowing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little pat.
It's a little sympathy pat, like, yeah.
He runs off. He hauls ass. He hides.
Yeah.
He's smart.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know, I got to say this. I know that there's garbage disposals in America, but I would never throw that stuff in there, even with a garbage disposal. I would just put it in the garbage.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun when you have to bring the plumber with a snake to, like, unclog your drains.
Yeah. Or have somebody pump it out.
Hello, sexy.
Yeah. Brother's still in jail for murder.
Yep. I guess they're not married. Oh, boy. Yeah, let's do it in the kitchen. Why not?
Yeah.
All righty. And it hits her. You know, she's like, yeah, my brother is still in jail. Yeah, I should be concerned about this.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm going to stay up late now looking out the window and thinking about Candyman.
Yeah. At least he had a good last night of his life.
Yep. He went off before he went off. I love those balconies in New Orleans. They're so cool.
They're cool.
Because this place has French settlers made the city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful city, but it's also a little, dangerous.
Yeah.
I guess in that place they don't have counties; they have parishes, which kind of is another grandfathered in system from like the French, having parishes instead of counties.
Alaska has boroughs instead of counties, like New York, I guess.
Okay. Portugal also has parishes instead of counties. Yeah.
Well, what's he making them here? nice little, dessert.
Yeah.
It looks like it's not pancakes. It looks like
Crepes.
eclairs.
Yeah, or maybe crepes.
Yeah. Crepes, yeah, that's it.
You can't even open a wine bottle. Jeez.
Yeah, he ripped the cork in half and got it stuck down there. So then you just poke it through.
I love this entrance of Candyman. It reminds me of that short movie where when you turn the light off, you see a shape. Then you turn it back on, and it's gone. Turn it back off, and you see it closer to you. It's so creepy. And they bring back that whole mesmerizing aspect of Candyman.
Only a little bit, though. Not so much. And she's able to break the spell. Later on. But she only it only happens just a little bit in this movie compared to the first.
He forces her to experience his pain.
It's also really interesting that nobody ever made that connection about his name, Candyman. In the first
with the honey?
Yeah, with the honey. And not until this movie, it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That's why it sweets to the sweet.
Yeah.
And the bees, of course. Well, the bees would have to come from something like that. I think they came up with a very appropriate story.
I don't think if you're out in the middle of a field or something and you've got honey on you, that bees are going to come and sting you to death.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would care. I mean...
Only if they were like swarming somewhere really close by.
Well, I think they would go after the people who tore down their beehive.
That too. My dad was an amateur beekeeper, and I've had a lot of experience with bees. Got stung a lot of times, even wearing those little bunny suits with the mesh mask and stuff. They can still prick you through that if you're not careful. So,
one thing that you can do is never run from bees. Just stay there.
Oh,
and still.
Well, I would say that's probably not very important. You can still run from them. It's okay.
This is one of a few times in this movie where he just stabs them right through with the dull part of the hook. That would make a gigantic hole.
Of course, yeah. This is.
I was surprised they left a lot of this in.
It's a blunt hook. It's not serrated or sharp.
Yeah,
or it's got a blade on it.
It's a little over the top. I think that the regular way he would kill people in the first Candyman was good enough. They don't. I
think that's the point. Yeah, they make it really over the top. Oh, I love this scene here. I love this the beast coming out of the scratch in the face.
Yeah, and then the scratch heals up a little later.
Yeah,
good effect.
Well,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine what he had to go through just for that one shot of the bees in his face.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
Oh, do you?
It freaks me out when people make that a beard made out of bees around their face.
Yeah, right.
God, that freaks me out so much. It's like, oh Jesus, I wouldn't even breathe.
No, it's not.
Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
Oh, you remember when Alex on the Clive Barker Facebook page made "Be My Victim" and he put BEE.
That's
and it
interesting.
wasn't like tongue in cheek. It was just like serious.
Interesting meme abilities.
But those things all look like they're coming from Clive Barker.
Yeah. Well, this scene here, I mean, come on, the cops would totally think she did it, right? I mean,
yeah.
They're talking to her like they don't have any proof that anybody died, and she's just like a crazy woman talking to them. It's like, no, her husband died.
Yeah.
She would be the prime suspect, I would guess.
Yeah.
They always go to your closest family members most of the time, don't they?
Yeah. And he always smiles whenever somebody died.
That's really professional.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they bring this. I found a few theses while I was researching for Candyman 2. There's a couple of academic theses, if that's the plural of the word. I don't know. But they really talk about the aspect of role reversal for Candyman, about him, instead of telling people to be their victim, he switches to the other side and wants people to witness his pain. to remind, the blonde white people with blue eyes in this movie that they did this to him,
Yeah.
It's an interesting take.
You even have Jesus Christ in this. Or a guy dressed up as, Jesus.
That procession is really amazing. It's one of the moments in this movie that I think really worked for me.
Yeah.
Just can a black person really have a kid that's white with blonde hair?
I guess if you put enough generations into it.
Yeah, I suppose.
We don't really know how far apart they were.
Yeah. Well, she said great-grandmother.
She is
so that's 2 generations.
Veronica Cartwright's the
grandmother,
yes.
Yeah. Was
that scene where the mother is saying "go to sleep" to her reminded me of. She reminds me of Ronnie Blakely as Marge Thompson, the mom in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
she
Totally.
drinks too.
Yeah,
she drinks a lot,
and wanting to deny any part of what happened in the past. And
yeah,
that's right. Except Annie's not a teenager.
Yep, that's true.
But
if I were this family, I wouldn't have any mirrors.
Yeah. Oh,
they have, but
Yeah, but she's so totally in denial about all of it.
I guess that was a picture of the little girl that was born from the forbidden union of Daniel Robitaille and Caroline Sullivan.
Which would have been her mom, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe her grandmother. I'm not sure which.
I'm not terribly good with the genealogy. Today's the day, New Orleans. It's Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Now, I saw that when I was down in New Orleans, that guy on the horse, whatever that was. I remember seeing that.
Oh,
okay. The statue. Mm-hmm. Lovely location shot here.
Yeah.
And I see some bees flying around.
It's nice that if they set this movie in New Orleans, that they didn't film it in, like, Vancouver.
Again, this scene reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street. Because her mom is there waving and being all cheerful, and then, the monster is going to show up and kill her.
Oh, yeah.
It just reminds me of Nightmare on Elm Street, like the ending of the first movie.
Yeah, and this is a nightmare.
Yep.
He's even got, like, a tie.
Yeah.
It's the best, I think, the best costume they made for him.
Almost like a Dracula look,
Yeah.
It's like, share my world. You brought me here. And then I guess, she brought him there with in her genetic memory, maybe, it's.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to explain the movie, but that's what I think that's being symbolized here. Like, it's going to follow her because she carries his blood. So that's why he wants her to witness his pain and the stuff that they made to him.
There's a good line here, Veronica Cartwright.
I'm going in my prom dress. There's a good cast in this movie. They do a good job for the most part. Especially in the upcoming scenes. Bill Nunn, of course, is going to play Reverend Ellis. He's always good in the movies that he's in.
He was in New Jack City as, I can't remember the character's name, but done a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah, I like him. Wasn't he the psychiatrist in Lord of Illusions, right, that talked about reality?
No, it wasn't him. Looked like him. I know you're talking about.
His voice sounded the same too.
Yeah, they did.
We have to agree what's real.
They had that, the same kind of voice.
Well, I remember him. He was in Spider-Man 3. He was Robbie Robertson from the Daily Bugle. No, wait, that's not the newspaper with J. Jonah Jameson. He's like the editor or whatever for that newspaper. There's that line you were talking about, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're trying to emulate Wolfman Jack a little bit with this. So is he supposed to be the Kingfisher or something?
That's just the name of
a bird?
It's the name of that, I guess, his stage name, I guess, for what he's
yeah,
what he calls him. I don't know why he's called
his DJ
that.
name.
Yeah, DJ name, exactly.
Yeah, this is not particularly. I guess it's representative of a certain difference between upper class and middle to low class in New Orleans. My wife lived in Mississippi for a while, so she said she didn't like it at all. It was a hard place to live. Sorry, Mississippi listeners. I'm sure it's beautiful. I haven't been there. I'm sorry.
I went through it when we were going to New Orleans, so that's all I can say. It looked pretty.
Yeah, he's like a bookish teenager. He's the kind of teenager that's sensitive. He's into arts and stuff.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Well, yeah, I guess he's not the same guy as Lord of Illusions.
He doesn't sleep in his room anymore. He just spends all the night awake painting. Hey, that sounds like Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Kind of reference.
How could that kid function if he doesn't sleep?
His studio.
What? Candyman.
You get to see his little studio here.
That kid is a way better artist than she is, and she's the art teacher.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. I mean, he should
wow.
Yeah.
And again, he's got some hoodoo stuff, and then he's got a book full of the Misfits symbol. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I'll have to look. Oh no, there it is.
The Misfits skulls on the cover of the book, sketchbook.
On the back of it, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's funny that he opens that tiny closet and says he calls this his studio, but then they pan out and the whole room is covered in drawings.
Yeah.
Seems like they use a corner of the old mansion that she was in to record the scene.
Yeah.
Because that closet door is just all busted up.
Yeah.
She's like, he can draw me better than I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, that's so much more detail. And
oh, yeah, look at that.
That's really good. Kids poking a dead thing with a stick.
I know.
That's such a trope.
I didn't get this moment. I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean.
I always kind of laugh at it because it's just.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well. I think it's
all be punished.
Even you.
Yeah, even you. It just comes off like a little bratty, snotty kid.
He's the king.
Yeah, it's not exactly like foreshadowing. I don't know.
That little kid grew up to be King LeBron.
Because she's already been punished, right? Her husband is dead.
Yeah.
And
I think I've seen that. Could have been cut.
Yeah.
I'm drunk and I'm stupid. Please let me sleep. I love that.
That was probably the biggest laugh in the movie when I saw it in the theater.
But
people are like that.
Yeah, it is like that in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's not far-fetched.
It's all tourists, of course.
Every time I see this police station, it looks like in the corner is going to be Harrison Ford looking at the replicants video.
Yeah. the Voight Kampf test.
Yeah. They put some plywood over that broken window there.
Yeah.
I guess the police has budget cuts.
Yeah.
And this is where the plot unravels. It's a kind of a strange twist here. It's like, so why was the dad so obsessed with Candyman that he would call him. And I guess the explanation, of course, is going to be that he heard that he could destroy him, so he was going to do that.
Yeah.
Here he is, on his way to become the next Supreme Justice.
Yeah, and it was Purcell's fault for telling him that it was just a story. And yeah, go ahead and call him if you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but he was so obsessed with it. It's obvious that his dad, didn't call him just because he thought it was just a story. He called him because he thought he existed. He believed it was real.
Yeah.
So that thing at the beginning doesn't make a lot of sense,
Right, and and we don't really get a good sense. I mean, I guess, did he figure out that they were related to Candyman? Why was he so obsessed with him?
I think so, because doesn't the Veronica Cartwright's character, the mother, makes a comment about that? She's like,
yeah.
And she's looking at the picture, the old-timey picture. Yeah. So they knew.
Your father was trying to, she makes that. It'll come up later.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason why. Everybody has blue eyes in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's on purpose.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's in the French Quarter. It's like, no, don't go. It's too dangerous. Yeah. There's tourists there.
Yeah. He says, wait till I get out. You're never getting out.
Until I get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 30 years.
I guess he thought the police was going to release him because, people were being killed and it was the same
MO.
MO. Another procession.
Yeah.
So I thought that other lady was his partner. Who's this guy?
Good question, right? Yeah. It's probably another detective. Maybe the other detective was busy.
This is a weird little scene.
Yeah.
It is.
It always makes me want an icy, though.
I can tell you this guy's a terrible location to sell ices because there's so many people partying like a block or so away, but this street is completely empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Cleopatra.
In a minute, when he pours the red stuff in there, it's supposed to look like blood, and it makes this sound like.
I gotta turn that up for a second. Just play it.
It's a curious choice to put in that close up, I guess.
It's not. It doesn't really.
Nod from the director.
Yeah, it doesn't really do its job of looking like blood or whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a real. There's a certain tension in this back and forth, because you can tell that he knows more than he's trying to appear.
Yeah.
And he's trying to deal with the fact that she's confronting him. It's an interesting scene here.
This actor Matt Clark, he was in that Clint Eastwood movie called "Where Eagles Dare."
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Check it out if you get the chance. But the Misfits, with Glenn Danziger, they made a song about it.
Yeah, it seems like the director liked the Misfits because he put the Misfits in the back of the art book of that kid Matthew.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an Easter egg.
Oh yeah.
And of course, he's got come in around the back. I'll take you to my secret room.
Yeah.
I have a whole family down there in the basement.
Gosh, yeah. He's a creepy character. I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't go in there.
No way.
Thibodeau, right? Is that his name?
Thibodeau.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being in houses that had those bead curtains. It's just weird. What's the point of that? It's always so awkward to go through that stuff, I mean, at least for me. I guess some people love those.
If you have long hair, can't you get your hair stuck?
Right.
Never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's more like, how do you clean it, you know?
Yeah.
Start thinking about all the
This guy's like,
dust
yeah, whatever. I'm going to stay in the
okay. The writer didn't write any lines for me, so I guess I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah. I was supposed to be that other actress, but she got sick or something.
That's a possibility. I wouldn't put that out of the equation.
Another cool thing about New Orleans is they've got these really cool shops.
Yeah, yeah. With voodoo stuff.
Yeah.
When I was in the Lost Souls Clive Barker newsletter, they would ship a little something with every issue. And one of the things I got once was a promotional postcard with this painting.
Oh, wow.
You still have that? I'd like to see that. You ought to put that in the show notes.
Yeah, I have to look to see if I scanned it. I think I did at some point. If I can find that, I'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
It's a lovely painting. And of course, there's our man, the artist. You know, it's something that would happen with some paintings over the course of history. Sometimes the artist would put themselves in a mirror in the painting. I think one example is Goya. He painted himself into a mirror in a painting once.
Yeah. I
think.
This started the franchise trend where if you break something that belongs to Candyman, then you'll kill him or whatever. You just have to break his stuff.
Yeah. I recommend you guys go check out the commentary track we did for Candyman 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hoot.
It's like, where the hell does this come from? His death is pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here we are in
the setup of it with the 1B. And
yeah.
The reveal.
This looks like Guillermo del Toro's house.
Yeah.
You know that lovely exhibit that's going on?
This is pretty creepy.
No.
It's like, wait a minute, that's not something that I have in my house. What if he had never taken the sheet off of there? He just could have walked right out the door and left. He would still be alive.
Candyman would be like, gosh darn it.
Yeah. He probably doesn't really care that much if he kills this guy or not.
Oh, they're throwing bees in my face. Ah!
Yeah. I bet that actor was like, oh, nobody told me I was going to have to do this.
I shouldn't have used bee pheromone as aftershave.
God.
God.
I shouldn't have had that beehive stomping party.
How many bee stings will it take to kill you? Is it 100?
That's an interesting question. Let's not find out.
Yeah. For some people, it's like one.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Right,
for some people who are allergic, they can go into a shock and
that's right. Like that movie. There was a movie called Pure Luck with Danny Glover and had Mark Short in it, and he was allergic to bees, and he got stung by one in it. You know.
Oh yeah.
Really fast.
I've been stung by a lot of bees. Never more than like 5 or 6 at one time, but it's more painful than, you know.
Yeah.
It's really painful though.
We were stung we were playing frisbee golf, and I went to get my frisbee, and I stepped in a beehive. And so they were stinging me all over, and then I ran, and I caught up to my friends and stuff, and they're like, keep running, what are you doing? They're still behind you. And they were right.
Run, Forrest, run!
They just swarmed on me again and started stinging me some more.
Oh, geez. That's terrible, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes bees can swarm in the weird places like a tree stump or, sometimes they around a tree or something. And if someone's not careful, and then they'll just, they'll swarm on you.
They end up itching like crazy, too, after pain and all that stuff's gone.
And my brother had one swim into his Mountain Dew, and he drank it, and it stung the inside of his throat.
Why don't they die? Why don't they die when they're going to, like, a Coke or something like that? They should.
Yeah, I know.
They survive.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're just there licking it on the inside of the can, or
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
So great cops, huh? She got away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
she just went home, right? Is that where this is her house?
Yeah, so I guess the cops would be there. That would be the first place they would look for.
Yeah.
I guess they're like, oh, she gave us the old slip. Oh, I guess let's go back to the station.
Yeah.
So here's why they had sex early in the movie. It's so she can have a daughter.
Oh, right, like in Terminator.
Yeah. That's a question we all ask ourselves.
Bad art teacher.
Yeah. Almost every shot has got a mirror in it somewhere.
I guess that's important for, Candyman, of course.
Yeah. They never, at least they never made it so he was like in the mirror, or he could travel between mirrors or whatever.
Yeah, there's a movie like that, right? There's
like Shocker or something like that, where the guy.
He was in it going through the TVs.
Yeah, that was silly. Yeah.
So I guess those kids in the art class, they were making masks for Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Mardi Gras, of course.
Pretty cool masks.
Well, it's time to go to church and do midnight mass.
Yeah.
You were talking about the costumes earlier, Jose. The costume designer for this was Bruce Finlayson. Finlayson, yeah.
Okay.
Never heard of him, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
He did a great job. There's a lot of. I wonder if they actually had to do like these Mardi Gras processions at Mardi Gras, or if they did it like in the back lot.
It sure looks real. It looks like the real location and everything.
So the kid ran away, right?
Yeah, he's at the slave quarters, isn't he? Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, right, which is like he wanted to get away from Candyman, so that's where he goes.
Well, the fact that the priest comes up with the birth certificate for Daniel Robitaille it's a little Deus Ex Machina. It's like, I went to the church and I found it there. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
And now here's the grave. Pieces
the story together. This is the grave where they scattered the ashes over Cabrini Green.
Yeah, right.
Like, here we are. Welcome to Midian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have that feel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This looks like a Portuguese cemetery. You also have cemeteries where the older graves have these little, like, granite-made houses that have a bunch of caskets in there.
Yeah.
Especially for families,
Yeah, this looks like a real New Orleans cemetery.
Oh, yeah, they're always above the ground.
It always freaked me out, the above-the-ground thing, It always freaks me out.
If it floods down there,
yeah,
no, the bodies will, if they were buried in the ground and it floods.
Ah, I see. The caskets could come up.
But it still happens. That happens a lot. If it rains down there, it can still happen. Even the above graves can flood and caskets come out. Recently, that happened maybe last year in one of the bad storms.
Mm-hmm.
Just the caskets floating in the.
Jeez, that's horrible. Yeah.
You would. Think about that. You'd have to. You'd have to open those caskets up to try to. I mean, you wouldn't know who they were. I'd hate to be that person.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, being from Europe, I've seen a lot of excavations in church grounds. And in some churches in Europe and Portugal and Italy and Germany, you go into like the big cathedrals, and on the aisles, you're literally walking over graves of like people. Except it's all covered in marble and stuff. But you can see like, this is the grave of like a bishop that lived in 1432 or something. And it's right there on the floor in the aisle of a church. They would bury people sometimes inside the churches.
Why most movies, or horror movies especially, I have nothing against. I'll forget it. I ain't gonna make it up. This is a good scene coming up.
Your friend the Candyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those deaths where I laughed in the theater because it was like you want to see him get it. And he's
Everybody knows what's coming.
Yeah.
making fun of the myth.
Candyman.
Candy.
Well, he's been set up as an asshole the whole movie, so
Yeah.
And we laugh. I mean, you laugh at it because.
And this is the second time where the hook comes all the way from his back and out of his front.
Yeah, the blunt part.
Yeah.
Smash.
Blah. I
regret
trying to
nothing.
read. Yeah. I'm reading here.
He sure did hurl his ass out that window.
There's one. This is kind of also another inconsistency between this movie and the first. Is the video footage backs up the fact that it was like a supernatural force that killed him.
That was pretty
He's
cool
like, how come that didn't happen with Helen? I mean, with Helen, it just looked like she was a crazy person when they looked at the video footage.
Well, because she was talking to herself.
Yeah.
In a closed room, nobody was being killed in the tape there.
Well,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easy to write it off as just hallucinating.
So if they'd had a video camera in the psychiatrist's office, then maybe that would have helped.
Yeah, they would have seen the guy just like being slammed against his desk by some invisible force.
Yeah, and then hurled out the window. Or was he? No, he wasn't.
No,
Candyman just flew out of the window. Yeah, so then the window would have broken for no reason, I guess.
This is a sweet-looking house. Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah, that cop would really hate this house.
Yeah. That mansion on Esplanade Avenue.
Yeah.
And here she's looking into her familial genealogy.
Yeah, her mom was left alive just long enough to be confronted about this, and no more.
That key was too easy to find.
Yeah.
It was something like that had hiding. If you want to hide that, that's something you put in a safe.
She's thinking, I'm going to send this tape to like ghost hunters on History Channel.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that right there, where it shows how his back's ripping open and you don't see anything.
Yeah. It's also nice that Annie is not framed as much as Helen is this time around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just investigating. It's not like, oh, you're the number one.
Like, oh, geez, you caught me like drinking vodka and popping pills. Here comes the big reveals.
Yeah.
It was Caroline and Isabel. So, and I think Isabel would be her mother's mother or grandmother.
I guess we'll find out here in a second. I can't remember.
Well, I don't think her father was actually like spreading to the world that they were the family that.
No, yeah, he was just investigating. And
yeah, he was.
Why doesn't Annie realize that everyone that she goes near is going to get murdered?
Uh-oh. She said he didn't exist.
Yeah.
I love the fact she's wearing white.
Yeah. And she's making the same face that she made when she got, trapped up against those canisters by the alien.
Yeah. Oh, one of you guys is like really late in the movie.
Yeah,
that
sounds like Rob.
That's me. I got pressed something.
Oh.
Oh, you accidentally paused it?
No, my controller. PS4 controllers are very sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you at?
The part where he's killing her, blood's coming out of the front.
She just fell on the floor.
Okay.
Well, at least her death is like one of the easiest deaths in the franchise.
Candyman doesn't have the same like vocal effect on his voice that he did in the first one.
Oh, when they bring it to the forefront? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did that to humanize him more.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, not make him so ghost-like.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It's like, oh, thanks, Mom. Just push the security button. Now they're all going to think I murdered you because you pushed the security button.
Well, I guess here it kind of snaps her out of that trance, you know?
Whoa, those police got there in 3 seconds.
They were probably like stalking her.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah, I see what you mean. They're responding to the alarm.
Yeah.
Which is obviously ridiculously fast.
Unless maybe there were people camped out of her outside of her mom's house, maybe.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here she is, the detective. Yeah. It's all true. Oh, by the way, we shot your brother.
She's like, yeah, well, everybody else is dead.
Yeah. You're right, she takes it pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I think she's a strong character. I like
Yeah, they ruined her character in Candyman 3. She's awful.
Yeah, they got the girl from Baywatch to play her.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, the mother, they ruined her character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know who played that, but
yeah.
Well, he just killed her off. I mean, she really wasn't in the movie, was she?
She had a yeah, well, and she had like a southern accent.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't have in this movie. Just really, just that whole thing is just so poorly made.
Get drunk, get fatter, and get fucked. I love that scene. And this is a great party. I mean, there's a guy over there blowing a horn, and people are just partying. I'm sure that rain would be would be warm if it was really Louisiana.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you guys see that bear? Guy dressed as a bear.
No.
It's a creepy bear. Oh, there's the bear again.
God, puking.
The Kingfisher is not how I imagine him to be from his voice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I didn't picture a big, kind of rotund guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here is like Bacchus, which is, very appropriate because this is kind of like almost a bacchanalia of sorts.
Back to the slaughterhouse.
I think the rain does a good job of bringing out a good texture of this movie.
Yeah, I had some experience.
Nice gritty.
Yeah, I had some experience with rain in the South when I went to Orlando to Disney World. And it's just, even though it was beautiful weather, but it was just like all of a sudden some clouds would appear and it would just rain torrentially for 15 minutes and then it would stop and it would just get sunny again.
Panama was like that.
I hate it. I don't like rain.
I think what's really weird, Jose, is when you're driving here in Asheville, it'll be in rain that's pouring down, then it'll just suddenly stop.
Yeah.
You got scattered showers. Just bizarre.
So you probably don't even bother having an umbrella. You just kind of, take it.
Yeah.
In Orlando, I just had ponchos. Oh, there's Matt.
Yeah.
That's where he was hiding.
Yeah, with all these dangerous squatters.
And drifters.
Yeah.
It's like, no, seriously, the Uncle Joey over there taught me how to make meth.
God. Yeah, and it's not like Candyman was going to go after him if he'd gone home.
No.
Now she's going to bring... come with me. Everybody that hangs around me gets killed by Candyman, so let's go.
I think this is probably my favorite sequence in the movie.
The old slave quarters.
Yeah.
Somehow had mansion windows.
Yeah, this place is really, going to go, though. It's on its last legs.
Yeah.
This house is cousins with the house from Poltergeist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you expect to see those coffins shoot up and bodies fly out of them and stuff.
It's an entrance to Midian.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
That staircase looked like it fell on her, but then she was okay.
That's gross, man. That water.
Yeah. Of course, this is all pre-Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Sure, that thing was like 2007 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, great. I'm covered in mud.
Yeah. What's that light doing in there? Oh, it's not. It's the mirror.
That's really convenient. I mean, the movie could have had a different way of her finding the mirror.
Sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Like in the basement or the crawl space of a slave quarter, after falling down some stairs, and then the mirror's there for some reason.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. There's all these skeletons in the walls, and it's like that her parents, instead of doing something about it, they're like, just don't go play in there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So where are they hanging there? Jesus Christ. Some good special effects. A little dated at the end here, but they were really good. How can you talk without moving your lips? Candyman is also a ventriloquist in his spare time.
Did he talk with? I didn't notice that often.
It's like telepathy or something.
Oh yeah.
This scene coming up with where they actually show the sawing off of the hand is just so gruesome.
They're running after him in their top hats.
Yeah, I know.
And these people have absolutely no sympathy at all. You'd think at least some of them might.
Well, lynchings are not pretty.
Yeah, well, and I've never been to one, so what do I know? But, oh my God. Ugh. Jeez. That lady's smiling.
I just think it's creepy that little kids are there.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's pretty. The sound effect really sells it too. The ending.
Oh, yeah.
Wet sounds. But like you said, Ryan, of course, if they smeared honey on on his body, the bees would just attack everybody who was close by.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be him.
Yeah. But that's where this it becomes, those bees are not real bees, right? They're
it's super.
They're like a summoning of something that takes him away and takes his soul away.
Yeah.
But it does seem like a very elaborate way of killing someone that it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, how do they know putting honey on him is going to do anything? It's we're just going to smear honey on you because we're jerks.
Yeah, because he wasn't Candyman then. This kid calls him Candyman.
That's what they do to everybody they don't like is rub them in honey.
Yeah. We ran out of tar, so we're going to put honey on you instead.
Yeah. My point is just that there's no reason why they should smear honey on him, because that's not how, anything like this would go down. They would just get a rope and lynch him. That's why would they go through the trouble of getting honey from where? I mean, this is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. But, we forgive it because it's a cool way. It's a cool way that they came up with to explain the name.
And it's an origin story that Clive Barker didn't provide in the short story. I mean, he had a beehive in his chest for some reason.
Yeah, but he never explained it.
Right, so. Yeah.
Would y'all like to see a film adaptation of The Forbidden? Like, he wrote it. I mean, it's pretty much Candyman, but...
I wouldn't mind. It's not like something I've been dying for, because I think Candyman did such a good job. But
yeah,
I think they had to flesh it out somehow, because the Forbidden is short and doesn't have a lot of detail.
It's hard when you translate it to a movie. It's hard to explain that it would be. He's not real. He's not a ghost of something. He's just an entity that appears through sheer belief.
Yeah, he's just a story.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to translate that into a movie. Because most people wouldn't be able to understand, in a written story, it's easier to explain that.
Yeah, I think Valerie on the Stairs was like that too, wasn't it?
Yeah, to some extent. Although, and that Tony Todd is in that movie too. That episode of Masters of Horror. So he plays a demon.
Right.
A really awesome role.
Yeah, I don't know why we forgot about those two Masters of Horror stories when we set out to think about.
Well, they'll be part of our 2017 lineup, hopefully.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. It's been fun doing these audio commentaries, and we're going to run out pretty soon.
I love doing them. It's been great.
And this is interesting. I mean, I think it's kind of a horror movie trope where the spell got broken because she remembers all the bad stuff that he did. But there had to be some way.
Tony Todd actually went to a lot of museums preparing for this movie, studied some art. Yeah, he said he studied the art of the 1870s and the 80s. So he says that because Daniel Robitaille was an artist educated in the finest European society, that he took fencing, riding, and waltzing classes in preparation for the role. Seems a little excessive.
That's cool, though.
I'm going to get mud all over my lovely jacket.
I didn't realize that was they did that much water coming in on that.
Holy cow, yeah. And there were so many skeletons in there.
Yeah.
She's like, if I talk to you, Candyman's going to kill you, but I'll take the chance because I'm in trouble right now.
No way to explain like the role of mirrors in this movie, like you were saying, Ryan, that there's most scenes have a mirror somewhere. And the one of the writers of this script, Mark Kruger, he said he was talking about that, and he said mirrors represent the whole duality of human nature, and they're very mythical in that way. There was a little bit of it in the first movie. I really wanted it to use that. I wanted it to be that every time we pass a mirror, there's a sense of dread, that every mirror takes on an ominous connotation. And Candyman 2 is a story about secrets. I like the notion of every character having a secret that they keep from other people and almost keep to themselves. That was from Fangoria 139.
I could see that. How, the mother is always looking at herself in the mirror and she has this secret. That entity,
Great pose there.
The cradle is your grave, not mine.
The soundtrack in this moment is really amazing.
Yeah.
And the way he like poses himself, it's like, it almost reminds me of Hammer films or Universal monster movies.
Like Christopher Lee as Dracula.
Yeah.
They should have called this Candyman worst Mardi Gras ever.
Those effects. I don't mind the underneath the skin looks pretty. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, mid-90s.
But
CGI.
at the time, I probably thought it looked good.
Yeah.
CGI was still a little hard to be realistic.
Well, at the time, I thought, Alien 3's effects were pretty good.
I did too.
Now,
I still like it, even though it sticks out.
Yeah, but I mean.
Goodbye. I'm going down the drain.
Yeah, it really looks like it's got some, sink.
Good job, Matthew.
He's kind of like a Bond villain there when he says, "The mirror is the secret of my strength, the keeper of my soul." It's like, well, geez, why don't you just tell her how to kill you?
Yeah, that's exposition delivered in a very, very obvious way.
Yeah. He should have said, "No, get out of my church. I don't want Candyman following you in here. Get out."
They got the blessing.
Yeah. Now they're good. Doesn't this seem a little, I don't know, it's kind of like you always have the man and the woman that end up together at the end, and it's like it's this lady and her student.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I see what you mean. But you know what's funny is that they're still dirty from like being in that mud and stuff. It's like nobody talked to them. They didn't go anywhere. They didn't get a chance to clean up or anything. It seems a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, that one police officer knows she didn't do it, but how's she going to prove it?
And then the farewell to the flesh, of course, which is the meaning of the word carnival. It means farewell to the flesh.
They did kind of a nice job updating her to make her look like, a mother now. And
how many years is this? How old is her daughter here?
I would say
maybe like 6 months. Oh wait, no. Oh
5.
no.
She's like 5, maybe.
Yeah, 5, I would say. Yeah. And who has a mobile over their bed with actual mirror shots?
Mirrors would be a no.
Yeah, that's really poor planning. She's probably like, yeah, your uncle got you that. Or wait, no, her uncle's dead. I don't know. She doesn't have any family left.
Yeah, they were all wiped out.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even talk about the Candyman. I'd be like,
I know.
It was just not be something we brought up. I mean, you did.
Yeah.
I mean, practically killed her whole family off. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, and she's smiling when she says that. I'll tell you a story about him when you're bigger. And she's all smiley and stuff. It's like, oh, well, she killed Grandma. He killed Grandma. He killed your daddy.
What they should have done was done like a scene with like a totally different family or something like that. Just to end this, where the myth could continue on. That would have made more sense than having the person that that suffered through all this, and she's got a mirror.
I know. This ending is probably the weakest part of the whole movie. What and it's so. This is really forced. Why would she do that? Where did she hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see her maybe hearing about the myth. It's not bad, but I just don't get why her mother.
At that age, it's really strange how she would listen to that.
Yeah.
Caroline.
Again, you get the bad shock scare at the end.
You can't do that, and I'm not going to tell you why until you're older.
And that's a sure way of the kid doing that again immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. That mobile over the bed is just a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, right.
Be just like the first kid who tries to like bite that thing and breaks it and cuts his mouth or something.
Yeah. Why did I put this mirror mobile over your bed? What was I thinking?
So I enjoyed this movie. I do like it a lot.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean,
it's not perfect. I mean, there are some problems, but sequels tend to have problems.
Yeah, I mean, we're making fun of it, but I think this is one of the best sequels that I've seen in a horror franchise. I mean, it's really good. Except maybe Halloween 2. That's really good too.
Yeah. Hellraiser 2.
Yep, sure. Yeah, of course.
Aliens, but I guess Aliens isn't a horror movie anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like Aliens as much as Alien. I like
Alien better too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch the first one again. I haven't watched that one in a few years. So.
Well, and Alien had H.R. Giger designs, and Aliens didn't because he was busy working on Poltergeist 2 at the time.
Okay.
So they hired somebody else to make aliens that looked kind of similar, but they're not the same.
I didn't even know he was approached to do that. That's interesting. I thought he just didn't want to do it because he didn't want to do a sequel. A lot of people did a sequel done to Alien.
I was watching the Aliens marathon that was playing on, I think, AMC the other day, and I was having a blast. I saw Aliens, and then it was going to start Alien 3, but it was too late to watch, so I just went to bed. But yeah, Aliens, I was watching it in HD. Of course, there was a TV version, so there's a bunch of things that are taken out, which it's really jarring sometimes. I hate that in America you guys edit your movies for TV, really,
They didn't really used to do that when I was a kid, though. They used to leave the violence in. I remember watching a Friday 13th.
It's just the swearing and the nudity that they take out.
Yeah, and then sometimes some gore scenes,
Yeah.
It's just so jarring.
Now, if you watch it on USA, you're gonna get this butchered version with all the violence taken out. But like back in the 80s, they didn't care. I
think it was the USA channel I was watching. It wasn't the AMC because AMC doesn't censor things, right?
Yeah, no. USA just puts commercials every 5 minutes.
Yeah. When they play something like one of the director's cuts of like a Hobbit movie, it goes on for like 5 hours.
God.
Or more because of all the 15-minute breaks they put in there. That's like you have to invest a lot of time in it. All right, guys, this is awesome. I really love this movie. And it was really fun to be with you guys again for Candyman 2. Farewell to the Flesh.
Yeah, so our next movie is going to be the actual Midnight Meat Train movie.
Yeah. That's kind of weird how we did this one and didn't follow it up with Midnight Meat Train. That's interesting.
And if we sounded a little tired, it's because for me it's like almost 1 o'clock. For Rob, it's almost 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Just 10:40 for me.
Special thanks to Bernard Rose. I didn't know you got it.
I didn't see this movie because I was living in Japan when it came out.
And Peter Graves. Special thanks to Peter Graves. Must be a different one.
Yeah, maybe.
1995. Halfway through the 90s. Awesome time to be alive.
Yeah, that was a great time.
I
really got into Clive Barker.
I almost saw Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, but then the earthquake destroyed all the train stations and stuff, so I couldn't get there.
Oh, before we started this, I was watching Godzilla vs. Gigan, and I had to stop watching it to come to Skype. So I might just go back and watch it again, fall asleep to it. All right, guys.
All right.
Had a great time. Catch you guys later. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
You can find the show notes for this page and lots of Clive Barker news and features at www.clivebarkercast.com. Leave comments there or get them directly into the podcast by clicking the Send Voicemail tab on the right. Please follow us on Twitter at BarkerCast or at Occupy Midian, like us on Facebook, and join the Occupy Midian Facebook group. You can listen on the site or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Google Play, and DoubleTwist. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Please take a couple of minutes to leave us a review on iTunes. It means the world to us and helps us spread the word about Clive Barker. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.